again to Marilyn Hawes, and she's dressed in red today. Well, it's a russet red, or have the cameras gone funny?
The camera's gone funny. It's actually like a grenadier red. Yeah,
Oh,
the cameras are not. Yeah, no, it's actually like proper red with my red nails.
Colour coordinated. It's the only thing that will be coordinated today because we're going to do something unusual. Yes, the war has started. We're going to discuss that. But before, and it may sound a bit bizarre this, we're going to show you a cartoon. What, you say? That's not really in context. It is. And we've had long discussions of whether we should show this or not. But truth is our motto, if you wish, and you can decide whether this is true or false. It's about 5 minutes. Have a look, then we'll come back.
They say convert, pay up or die, and they look you in the eye, knowing you believe the lie, that inclusion was everybody's friend, when the truth now we all know, that was the beginning of the end. You didn't fight back, you failed to resist, and now the country is under their fist. No sun, no fun, no sky. All the music now must die. No more thinking thoughts, Sharia council, schools and courts. Welcome to Britain under the brand new caliphate. You're no longer free. Cover your face, your hair, your feet. You're now enslaved in a British caliphate. Don't you love the British caliphate? Have one wife, 3 or 4, when they're knocking on your door, asking if you're reciting the Quran, telling you you're gay and stoning you today. No matter if you're a woman or a man, you didn't say no, you failed so it seems, and now you are under the Islamic regime. No laugh, no dance, no art. Kill animals through their heart. No more thinking thoughts, Sharia council, schools and courts. Welcome to Britain under the brand new caliphate. You're no longer free. Cover your face, your hair, your feet. You're now enslaved in a British caliphate. Don't you love the British caliphate? They steal your daughter for their wife and imprison her for life, saying she's old enough at 9. They will exterminate your dog, a scorpion to your frog. Don't complain, just keep saying you are fine. It's far too late, you're way out of time. About 10 years ago, that was the line. No Christian or infidel, the whole place feels like hell. No more thinking thoughts, Sharia council, schools and courts. Welcome to Britain under the brand new caliphate. You're no longer free. Cover your face, your hair, your feet. You're now enslaved in a British caliphate. Don't you love the British caliphate? Hey, from the cities to the town, all the people wear a frown as they hear the horrendous call to prayer. Getting elected into power castle, schools, and courts. Welcome to Britain under the brand new caliphate. You're no longer free. Cover your face, your hair, your feet. You're now enslaved in a British caliphate. Don't you love the British caliphate?
Well, that was different. That was very professionally done, wasn't it?
Unbelievable. Oh my goodness me. I mean, some real creative thought has gone into that. I mean, it's extraordinary. And how they took that from like a Disney princess type thing and all of that and turned it into that. I mean, I don't know who made it. I mean, but the message could not be more accurate. It's frightening, but that is what is happening. It is what's happening. And
Well, that's not what we're allowed to think is happening. It's
no,
been hidden for decades.
absolutely right. Absolutely right. And for decades as well, referencing also what happened with the election yesterday up near Manchester with the Green Party, unbelievable woman that got in, frankly, very dangerous. And very much in bed with the extremist Muslims, and she couldn't be more white. And it's a frightening because I've said for many, many years the imams are the problem, and she more or less is in bed with them. But there was amazing lady yesterday on GB News called Kashada Brown. A beautiful, beautiful Middle East lady with that gorgeous makeup that they have. And she had her hair all covered in a lovely, lovely, pretty little turban thing. But my goodness me, did she lay it out there, both barrels. Now, I didn't know, and it was quite informative. I mean, she had been born, so she had come over here. She had lived in strife and heartache. So she knows in those countries. So she knows what they're capable of, the Muslim regime. And she said, you don't want that here. You absolutely don't want that here. And she said, I love this country. She said, I love my faith. I am a spiritual Muslim. And she went on to say there are three types of Muslims. I didn't know. She said there's the spiritual Muslims who, that's me. And she said there's also the cultural Muslims and the political Muslims, and they are the ones that are causing havoc in this country. And the imams are there telling their congregation, if that's what they call it, I don't know what they call it, but telling the congregations who to vote for. And that is really frightening because, the Green parties, they don't seem to have a moral compass that they're going to allow first class A drugs. They're not going to be banned. You can have as many abortions as you like. I mean, it's outrageous, absolutely outrageous. Now we know, because she gave a perfect example. She said, we were literally pushing so hard not to let the Green Party in. And she said, we went to one woman's door where there was a Pakistani lady there. And we said, oh, will you be voting Reform or what? She said, no, I'm voting the Green Party. And I said to her, so you think that that's okay to let children of any age, be given first class drugs, first aid drugs and all of that, class A drugs. And it's okay to have as many abortions as you like, which is against our faith, Muslim faith. And the woman said, oh, no, you're not being nice now. I don't want to talk to you. So she said, and then this lady, the Pakistani lady said, well, you're missing the point. And the Kashada said, I'm not missing the point. That's what they stand for. That is what they do. That's what they want. And she shut the door in the face. So she said, it's clearly obvious that they are being literally brainwashed by the imams. And she said that is what goes on in these mosques. And they just let her rant, and it was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Well, this is so important about what goes on in the mosque by the imams. And it's been known this for many, many years. And the police and authorities have turned a blind eye.
Yeah.
if you'd have got a preacher in a Methodist church saying things like that against Islam, he'd have been put in jail at a stroke.
I mean,
Now,
we as Christians are not allowed to go on the streets and,
no,
declare our faith. I mean, it's dreadful. And I say again, where are the faith leaders? They should be standing. The Catholics, the Baptists, the Archbishop of Canterbury, useless woman. I mean, they should actually be pushing our Christianity here. They should be pushing that.
well, we've got the natural reserve of the Brits, and now, Brits, it's time, perhaps, to get the truth out there and say, wake up. And I'm going to say, before it's too late, there are many commentators saying it is too late. It has happened.
Well, I
And
think
I
that's the
can
point
see
you
where
made.
they're coming from, frankly. But let's not diminish that wonderful word of hope.
Absolutely.
Let's see whether there's a turnaround possible. Looking back to the sectarian situation in that election of Gorton and Denton, you have got a very peculiar new formation there. Certainly Gorton, and I know the area well, is extremely poor, extremely left.
Okay.
Denton is not. And why they couple those two together, somebody's used some imagination there, or creative politics, as it's called. And if you'd have isolated Denton and say, let's have an election for Denton alone, Reform would have won by a long chalk. Now, I mention that because it is calculated that there are 50 other places in the United Kingdom that have got a similar makeup. In other words, there's a high proportion of Muslims. There's a high proportion of extreme left Labour, and you'll probably have 50 seats in this mad camp. And I say that advisedly because you've mentioned two mad things that the Greens are in favour of. Let me tell you, there's a whole string. And I sit back and say, Britain, do you realise what these clowns are standing for?
Absolutely.
The ideology of this party is appalling. It's not only the drug problem, it's practically everything. They're real outliers. And if you, that's a thought, liars, there. And I'm afraid it happens, and that is a strong word, but it's got to be used. And when you get a group of volunteers assessing the veracity of the poll, saying there's family voting here, they're queuing up, they've been told how to vote.
Yeah.
This is the Muslim population. This is wrong, it's illegal. And so far, very little's been done. I'm glad to say the police are investigating.
Oh, they are they? I haven't seen the update on
Yes,
that.
they are, but you know what that means.
Oh, yeah, but we have two-tier policing, so there won't be anything wrong. Oh, God, no. They'll do the tick boxing and then they'll come back and say, no. Nigel Farage isn't right on this, but he so is. I mean,
Nigel is absolutely right. It was back to Trump in 2016 in the States. It was all massaged. Let's be polite.
Oh, that's a good word. Yes, exactly right. That's right. And I mean, but I mean, I don't know why we don't go into these mosques and literally sort of have investigate what's being said, or
there's enough coming out of the mosque without us going into them.
Yeah, exactly, and hear what these imams are actually saying. I mean, there must be some good ones, but I mean, some of them are.
I've seen recordings you wouldn't believe. Saying, right, we're basically saying, right, Caliphate time, boys, get out there.
Yeah, it's absolutely dreadful. I mean, that I just can't get over that cartoon animation we've just watched. I just can't get over it. I can't get my head around it. I mean, I really want to know who. There must be a footnote there somewhere.
Yes, I think this will come out in due course. but let's just say that what a truth that conveys.
Oh, absolutely.
And ladies, do you want that sort of a situation?
I'm just trying to, dare I put it, it's all right for you, you don't live in the UK, but dare I risk putting it on X?
Yes, I think X would be all right, frankly.
It's just whether they know that the social media police end up knocking on my door.
Well, as long as you bring a pot of jam out, you're very welcome to it. You know that. Right, we better
First-
move on.
Yeah.
Listen, this is very apposite to what is happening in the world. What is happening in the world, of course, this very morning, Saturday, is that at last, after a month, Trump's decided they're not going to change. And he's right. And we've got to do something about it. And everybody that I've spoken to this morning, well, 99% of them saying, oh, Trump's at it again. He's going to cause World War III. Well, this is where your stiff upper lip comes in. Let me tell you that that regime is the height of wickedness. It's killed millions over the recent decades, and we cannot carry on with appeasement. Are you listening, World War II advocates? We appeased Hitler for years.
Exactly. And I think I mean, when I put the TV on this morning, I just sat there for an hour looking at the screen thinking, what in heaven's name is going on? And as you know, because I do think GB News is the best program for breaking news. I don't know who is in their team that does the research, but even as Mark White was on, and he had his mobile phone and he was showing the alerts that were coming through, and he was showing like where on his phone as the alerts were coming through where places are being hit. And as he went, I mean, it was just like unfolding. By the time we've come off this show, I mean, the fact that Abu Dhabi was hit, Bahrain was hit, Qatar has been hit. Now, my daughter used to live in Dubai, so all of those are right on the edge. There's Oman. Are they going to hit that? And frightening. And I rang my friend whose daughter lives in Bahrain, and she was saying she can smell the fuel. She can smell the emanating stuff that comes from these, and it must be terrifying. But I think Israel are working with USA, aren't they? I think it was a joint attack.
Israel was seen to preempt it by taking the first strike. So, as we've said on previous programs, the dome must now be over Israel, protecting them. That was the delay. Now the strike has to come.
Yes.
And it's not easy for anybody, and you've mentioned something there. War is horrendous.
Yeah, it's not pretty.
We're cloaked in that, and unless you smelt the smell of war, of bodies, unless you've heard and been deafened by the sound of arguments, you will not know how horrendous war is. So I've seen the bodies, the blood, but it's everything that surrounds it that is truly awful.
Oh, no,
it's a last resort.
Yes, it's not pretty at all. I can remember my mum when she was a little girl through World War II, and going down into the shelters and the sirens going off. And they had that this morning as well. Mark White had it, he was asking for the people that were showing the actual film of what was going out there, can you turn the volume up? And you could hear it, all the sirens. Now, I think it was yesterday or the day before, it was said that the children in the schools were all being sent home early with lots of learning books and everything else. So they obviously knew it was coming. But I think they had a Muslim man who was in Israel. I think he was filming from Israel. You couldn't actually see him but what he was saying was, spot on. He said this regime is absolutely horrendous, and he said the whole ideology is to take over the West and bring down and break Western civilization, and how the Iranians have killed so many people. And, Trump's done the right thing. He was like, he has done the right thing. Now, Trump is saying, is he not, that, come on, this is what you wanted. You wanted to take control of your own destiny. Now here is your time. This is it. Stand up and take control of it. My worry is, where does it end? Has he got an exit strategy?
Well, the chief worry is the fact that who's going to replace, are we going to get a bigger devil in there than the
Well,
one?
that's always the worry, isn't it? Exactly right. I remember all the stuff with Saddam Hussein. I mean, these people at the top, these regimes, they have reach out like tendrils, don't they? And they have lots of other people on the wings. Are you going to take them all out, or are there other people there that will still have that ideology and they will spring up again? It's a huge country, Iran, isn't it? And
It is a huge country. People don't realize it's
massive.
enormous.
Yeah, and it's frightening. You've got lots of mountains there that people can hide away in, and everybody yesterday apparently was being told to seek shelter. So there were some warning shots there. But even this morning, the reports have come out that thousands of people in this attack, thousands have already been killed. Now, I mean, Trump is not a warmonger. I don't think he is a warmonger. I don't think he likes war. He wants war to end, but I don't think he would push the button unless he really felt it was necessary. And he's not prepared to keep taking the threats on America.
Yeah, beware the ingrained Trump fear, or anybody. You build up likes or dislikes because we're human as people. Now you hear Trump going off on one, and you think, what is he going on? You mustn't forget that often, and it's the same as this morning's speech by him, it's for local consumption in the US, where he's got problems, obviously, with the Democratic Party. And it's not for consumption outside, because it's not apposite for that. But you tend to build up, oh, he's a big mouth and he's going to lead us into World War III. Well, I have an announcement to make, people. We're already in it, and it's a war against Islam.
Yes, it is.
And
It is.
it's a very clever war, like the Chinese are very clever in their war. And that is a war, but it's a modern war. It's not like the trench warfare, as an example.
No.
So is it better to get it over with this way, or literally start digging trenches? Well, I know what I'd sooner say.
I think this is the better way, and I'm hoping that it will. I mean, this Muslim guy that was on, probably not wanting to be seen, he couldn't have put it. He couldn't have put it more bluntly about they want, and he is a Muslim, and he was saying these types. He was very much similar to Kashada Brown, who was on yesterday, saying, these type of Muslims, they have a mission, an ideology, a caliphate. This is what they want, and it has to stop. And he said, that's it. I mean, hopefully, Trump has brought people to their, wake up call and thought, hang on, we don't want this. We don't want this. I mean, the women want to be free. The women they don't want to be controlled in this way. It's dreadful. I mean, like that film said about how you get stoned. I mean, they still stone people to death, don't they? It's dreadful.
In the early hours of Friday morning, when we got the results of the Gorton-Denton by-election, this was seminal. Because, if you like, that's part of the war. The Greens, the Muslims, won that hands down.
Yeah.
Now, don't be discouraged, because actually, if you analyse the situation, Reform had a good night. Didn't have a brilliant night, because they were hoping to win. But if you roll that out in the rest of the country, they will be in power. But the probability is that the Tories will make some sort of recovery over the months and years we have to wait for this clown to get out of office. And I'm sorry to be so direct, but I regard him as a dangerous clown.
Oh, he's totally dangerous. He's completely dangerous, as is the Green Party. They are
Well,
dangerous, and
it looks like reform may have to do a deal with the Tories. So the old left-right is dead and buried, in my humble opinion.
yeah.
The old Labour, the old Tory party. This will be a right party that will be next elected against the seriously left loonies, some people say.
Oh, they're bonkers. And yesterday he stands up there, Starmer, and I really can't bear him when he's trying to be sincere, because it is so sincerely insincere that he's like, and I am going to, yeah, with every breath in my body, I believe, and I want people to have more money in their pockets. No, I want to slap him because he can't even do sincere because he isn't.
I've got a statement to make now,
Ooh.
and it says, all politicians lie. It's called spin. Now, if you rely on those words, a lot of things do make sense. I don't say all politicians lie. Lots of people are now taking the stance they don't believe a word that politicians say. Once they get into power,
Yes.
they maintain and want to hold on to that power till their last breath and will lie. And they're all the same. I don't go that far. I've met some really good politicians.
Oh yeah, I agree. I mean, there are some really good ones that people that are. I like David Davis, right? I think he's okay. I like Tim Loughton. I like him. Some of what I would call traditional politicians. But this clown that's there now, I mean, he is never ever going to. He will have to be removed from posts. But then who's going to come in place?
I don't think, sorry to say this, but I don't think the goodies are anywhere near a majority now.
No.
So much has changed in politics in recent years,
Yeah.
and their own people are there in many instances. It's sad. I've been interviewing politicians, mainly abroad, in expat areas for decades, and I have noticed a sea change. I used to always really admire most politicians because they had the heart and soul, as the Spanish say, in their for the pueblo, for their own particular village.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's changed dramatically.
Yeah,
And the majority no
it
longer
does.
are
It's
like
all
that.
about their own power and wanting to be in power, and they're not in it for the right reasons. They're really,
No, power is money as well.
you know, and the trouble is what happened, of course, with Starmer. I mean, is that, you know, power corrupts, and absolute power absolutely corrupts. And that was the big danger when he got that massive majority. You thought, oh heck, oh no, because it's very difficult for any opposition to make any headway, really. And he's so controlling and this is the trouble over here now that, you know, lots of people are saying, well, why don't the public actually stand up and say something about the Muslims and immigration and migrants and all of that? Because if you do, then you're going to be arrested for hate speech and end up in prison.
It's
So you can't.
it's a classic of a communist regime.
Absolutely, it's a fascist state here. It really is. You can't. He's got it completely ring fenced, and it's dreadful. Really, you can't. There is no free speech. You can't.
No.
And people are so stupid. I don't know what is. I know, as you say, the reserved nature of the British public. But if they don't stand up and say something soon, there's not going to be a country to stand up for. I think it's going to be very, very difficult to turn around the rot that has been allowed to seep in, and people too stupid to see the enemy knocking on the door. Too stupid to see it. They don't. You know, they just want to live in their little rose gardens and their little villages and not see what's really happening. And that's frightening. I mean, this is you I just sometimes have to laugh at where I live because, you know, all this stuff that we talk about and all the stuff that I do with my work, yeah. And we all have a village WhatsApp group, and all they could put on it last week was, when are the garden bins going to be collected? Because they are the green garden bins? And there must have been 20 WhatsApp messages, and I'm thinking, God help me, please.
Yes. Where am I? Beam me up, Scotty. Yes, I know.
Oh my word! I mean, my life could not be more removed than the average mindset of the village here.
Yes. Well, we've mentioned that we're really, and we still are fans of GB News in many ways. But there is one thing that is coming out. And again, it was highlighted this very morning when we were discussing various things with some friends of ours. And I tuned in late last night when they were discussing Gibraltar.
Oh,
Now, this is a
yes.
complicated issue. And literally, we're down the road from Gib. We have a lot of friends there. We're always in and out, and we've known it for decades. So we do know quite a bit about it from the inside. Now, having said that, GB News has got tip-top commentators. You mentioned Mark, for instance, this morning. These are professional journalists, and normally, not with everybody, depends if they work for the BBC and Guardian, behave yourself. But normally, they are old school journalists, and what they say, they try to be even handed, and they try to get the best people in, informants, stringers worldwide, and come out with the right statements. Now, having said that, I was watching a program about Gibraltar, and you've got a panel, and a lot of them are not journalists. They're certainly not professionals. They can give it this.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Beware. And it sounds good. But when a particular, and he was a lefty, unfortunately, on the panel of Patrick Christie's show last night, starts giving his opinion and others on the panel, what is the problem with Gibraltar? They had not a clue, even down to the fact that, this border is a good idea. The new Chagos that may endanger Gibraltar. It's a good idea. It will let the Gibraltarians go into Spain to work. Now, the facts are that doesn't exist. It's the rest of La Linea and in the campo around Gibraltar that come to Gib to work. It's quite the opposite. And there they were opining something that they didn't know what they were talking about. And I'm afraid it goes on with some of the tabloid press. GB News can fall into that. They don't know what they're talking about. So check your facts. I do saying this. Check your facts.
I know they always have to have a lefty on, don't they? They can't because there are
Ofcom.
Oh yes, there are certain. There's two guys and a lady with blonde hair. She's probably, I would think, about 60, who go on, and they frankly drive me insane. They talk such trash. They really do. I mean, you think the trouble is it's on Patrick Christie's late night show, and then I go to bed all wound up. I can't.
Well, to be fair, it is entertainment, but trying.
Well, it's but is it? Because it's just nonsense. The stuff they come out with is utter nonsense. It's drivel, and it just, what are you talking about, you idiots? Really, truly. I mean, I just don't. I get it. And I mean, he has to have that though, doesn't he? He can't just have everybody that thinks like him. Then you have to have morons on, really, don't you?
Yeah, but this is the problem with the brainwashing, which is machine television. It's surprising how it gets into your bloodstream, and you think, it's on telly, it must be right. No, it's not right if it's on telly. You've got to use your common sense, people. No.
Exactly.
We're going
exactly. And also do some of your own research. You see, if I hit something that's absolute garbage, I will go onto my laptop and I will start reading stuff up. And I think, no, you are blank. You really are. But but people don't do that. They go along with, I think I agree with that, and they don't do any more thought than that.
Well, it's called being lazy, I'm afraid.
But it is lazy. It is
And it was
lazy.
important you check it out. And we're not having to go at GB News per se, because lots of other of the tabloid radio, television
Yes,
are
yes,
equally guilty, and sometimes a lot more guilty, as are the actual printed press.
yeah, absolutely. Sky News is another one.
Yes, Sky News has changed tremendously,
Hugely, gosh, hugely
but it
changed.
hasn't in Australia. They're
Really?
still, yeah, they're great.
How weird.
It is, isn't it? Same ownership, etc. Perhaps it's got
It's the
more
same.
common
It
sense.
is the same people in charge, is it?
As I understand it, maybe I should be corrected on that.
Wow.
So, but
Why would you have a completely different sort of format, if you like?
well, it's they're preaching to the converted, as most press are, and maybe the majority of the population of Oz has got a lot of common sense and down to earth appreciation.
Oh, yeah, Sheila, Bruce. So what about sort of Sky News when it's like Europe and around there? What?
Well, I mean, it's the Sky News that we get from
It's the
England.
same
So,
Sky News as yeah. It's
so
not. Do they get Sky in America?
I don't honestly know.
I
They
don't. I
get
don't.
GB News, of course, in America.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
would
yeah.
think so.
Yeah. I would think that with Ben Leo and what's the name? No, never remember her name.
Beverly.
Bevan, yeah, Turner. Yeah, I would think that's going to be an interesting program because that, with what's happened today, I think it would be very interesting to hear their take on it.
Tonight, yes, or
Yeah,
tomorrow morning,
yeah,
wherever
yeah,
you are.
yeah.
Right, we've got to move on, which we will do. We're already running out of time. We're going to Waitrose. Well, Waitrose have decided that they're not selling fish anymore because it's getting in short supply, particularly one mackerel. And well, we've grown up on mackerel, haven't we?
Yeah.
And of course, with maintaining the fish stock, there's now restrictions, guess where from, our friends over the channel, about sustainability. So they come out with a pompous statement. I'll read it, but I'm used to this, and so are you. We are reinforcing our ethical and sustainability and stopping all kinds of mackerel, including tinned, including pate and fresh milk mackerel. You can't buy it in Waitrose anymore. But it's the virtue signalling that really gets up my nose about this. What's it got to do with ethics? We are creating or have created a new religion. Call it green. I do. Call it net zero. It's all part of the new religion. And they try to make themselves look the beneficial people of mankind.
Environmentally friendly to the little
That's right.
fishes.
That's it. So I can see, because of the mad quota system, that there are times when you've got to go easy
Yeah,
on certain fish,
yeah,
but
yeah.
not to stop it completely. And while we're on the subject, can I say, if you need omega-3, which we all do, mackerel is a fantastic source.
It is exactly.
But beware, it's a fish, because of omega-3, that goes off very quickly. It goes bad.
Yeah.
So make sure that when you buy it fresh on those lovely buckets of ice, that the eyes are nice and bright, the skin is nice and bright, because it'll soon decay. Ooh.
Yeah, no, I do, if I buy, well, I only ever buy fresh fish. I don't buy frozen fish at all. But if I get fresh fish, I always use it that day because, I just don't, and anything fresh I get, But I had a friend moaning the other day about halal meat everywhere, halal meat in Sainsbury's, is it? And, here we go again.
Yes, sir.
Let's bow to the Muslims, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I again, with meat and chicken, I like to go to a proper butcher anyway. I just, I trust that better.
Yes, and yeah, you do pay a little bit more. But
I know you pay a little bit more, but I'd rather eat a smaller portion of something that's really nice.
exactly that. Buy the decent cuts of meat
Yeah,
you'll be
that's right.
more than well satisfied. Why buy a big piece of steak that's
Yeah,
as tough as shoe, whatever, when you can buy a little bit of fillet steak?
yeah, that's right. That's
Spain.
right. That's
And
right.
now
That's
in
right.
Spain, to make you really jealous, we
Mm.
can actually get Wagyu. All
Oh,
right,
can you? Yeah, Wagyu's
it,
good. I like
it's
Wagyu.
faux Wagyu because it's brought up in Spain, and
Yeah.
they don't coat the cow with milk like they do in Japan.
Yeah.
But honestly, if you're paying £1,000 a steak, and you can do in Japan, then it should be in milk or even champagne. But the Wagyu here is, we can buy it as nice big steak for about £15.
Wow.
And you cut it in two, you can both enjoy that, and it melts in your mouth.
Lovely. Very nice.
Yes.
Very nice. I know it is lovely. It's very nice Wagyu. And yeah, they have it quite a lot. They have quite a lot of it in Bermuda because that's on the menus because they're posh, aren't they?
Oh, yes. And
Posh
don't
people.
put any oil in your pan. You don't need it
No, you
because
don't need it. You don't need it.
plenty
But
of.
just going back, can I just go revert back to the war situation again? Something came up in my thinking. Sorry, I know we've gone on the food, we've got onto a lighter subject, but how many people now are going to be leaving the Middle East? Isn't that going to add to the migration problems? Are we going to have like how we've taken in all the Ukrainians and this, that, and the other? Are we now going to have a whole load of Middle East people fleeing?
It's a
And,
big
and
factor, and in my opinion, people like the blob of Europe should be doing something about that.
mm, mm.
But whether they will, knowing how other European ventures fail, I don't know. There
Mm.
will be a problem, but let's go back to the original UN, United Nations decree. They should go to the next country that is safe. They shouldn't be tramping across.
Yeah, exactly right. That's right. But will that happen? I mean, the UN aren't much good, are they? I mean, but also going on. Sorry, I'm muddling it all up here as well, but it is relevant. The the I don't know if you saw, because my son is very very high up in McDonald's, and I had found something the other day that in Germany they're taking all the offensive food things off out of the windows and everything because it's Ramadan.
Oh my giddy aunt. You just give up, don't you?
And so I sent it to my son and I went, Oi, what? He comes back, he says, Well, Ma, we are a global multicultural organization. I went,
Well, that sums it up, doesn't it? That's what's wrong.
But you see, he can't. He knows we are so opposed with our political beliefs, and his wife. I'm surprised they're still married because she just could not believe that he voted for Labour, as did his older brother. And it's not a conversation I can ever have with the other ones. But so he's always having to sort of protect the fact that where he put his cross on the voting form. But I said that is ridiculous, Michael. What about the people that aren't part of Ramadan? Why can't we in Germany sort of see the things that we like to eat? Why have we got it's ridiculous. So all the adverts to do with the food and anything in McDonald's that has to come down. I said, well, why don't you just shut the stores completely and only open them at night? There you are. That would be really good, wouldn't it? Because they only eat in the dark, don't they?
It takes some real courage to actually say the statement you come out with this morning. My son is high up at McDonald's. Well, there you go. But she said it now.
I mean, I couldn't believe it when I read it. And I sent him the article, and as you said, then he came back. I think I think it's often tongue in cheek as well. You know what I mean? Because he knows I get wound up with all this stuff, and he knows I do. But the going on also about what you said about the Denton and Garton, isn't it? Was it Denton that the election, the changing of the demographic of the councils?
Oh, yes, yes.
You see, that's what now
Drawing the boundary lines or redrawing the
I heard now Bedfordshire, central Bedfordshire is quite white, really. You've got Bedford up in the north, and you've got down in the south. There's a small county. You've got Luton, right? And I was talking that, funnily enough, they were just drivers, drivers on a old people's minibus thing, and they were waiting for these people to come out of a care home thing. And the guy was talking. He said, "Oh, did you see Central Bedfordshire couldn't agree their budget?" I said, "No, I'm not really." And if they don't agree their budget next week, then it's got to go to the government. I went, "Well, what? Sorry, I don't really understand what all that means." But then they said. Oh, it looks like Central Bedfordshire is now going to be joined to Milton Keynes. The councils are going to like join up. I said, but Milton Keynes is Buckinghamshire.
Oh, don't mess with Buckinghamshire.
But Milton Keynes has a huge ethnic mix.
Yeah.
Massive, massive. So is that why we might join up with them? I don't know who lays the boundaries out, but maybe that's
Well, it's going to be a civil servant, and you know where they stand on DEI, don't you? Exactly. We've got to move on. Time has gone. I want to mention another fact. We're going to London. New figures. Half of the rough sleepers, it is now calculated, which is pretty near 5,000 a night. Half of them are foreign nationals. What does that say to you about Sadiq Khan?
Oh, he's awful. He's a dreadful man, absolutely dreadful man. I just don't. I can't bear him. I can't bear him. And also the was it now you could say to yourself, was it a mistake with Starmer's not ever wanting to be challenged because he wants to get rid of Wes Streeting, doesn't he? Was it a mistake not to put Andy Burnham up for election in Denton?
Do you think it would have made any difference?
I probably not, but I don't like Andy Burnham anyway, so I think it's a good thing that he wasn't personally. I don't like him. I think he's another one that'll be dangerous. I really do. Awful. I think it's dreadful. But yeah, London is just it is awful. It really
I
is.
mean, he's wrecked it. Everything he's done, whether it be the ultra zones that he's put in there for
It's
driving,
awful. It's awful.
whatever he's done, he's just a big mate of Starmer. And
Yes.
he's obviously caught the infection.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. But you know what? You drive in. There's a nightmare driving in there now because you've got all these like what do you call it? The little food delivery people. You know,
Oh yes, on their motorbikes and
Just
scooters.
Eats and all of that. And they really are. Most of them, I think, are illegal migrants. They don't even know how to ride the bike. They go on the wrong side of the road. They don't observe traffic lights. They've got all their scarves right up round here, and you know all the hoods up and everything. And you know who they are, and they have got no idea of the road highway, how it works.
No, we suffer from that in the south of Spain because the
do
whole
you?
world comes from here, and you've got all sorts of nationalities.
Yeah.
The driving is appalling.
Outrageous. It's awful. It's awful. I just, you know, maybe I could take a few out. You know, on the side of the road.
Well, let's finish on a related driver condition, if you wish, and that is back to the UK. Again, recent survey, a third of the general public wants to take your driving license off you when you get to age 80. When you go to the Gen Z proportion of that, it goes to double that percentage. Perhaps the Gen Zers think, I'll never get to 80. Let's get rid of these old folk now.
Well, 80 is the new 70, isn't it? I mean,
Well, look, it hides a problem here. Mandatory eye tests from age 70 is coming into the United Kingdom. That is more jobs for the boys, I'll tell you. And going back to my usual rant about the GPs, they should be taking an active stand in a lot of things, whether it be rape gangs, whether it be condition of a patient, and should be reporting back to the authorities. As you know, 20 years ago, we were nearly pulled from this mortal coil, walking down a road, and we were wiped, both my wife and I, completely, and left for dead. And it turns out that the lady was well past the driving age. She had dementia.
Oh, well, yeah.
And basically, doctor knew about that. If you want to say who's guilty, you think, oh, the silly old bat should not have been driving. But in her condition, she wouldn't have known.
That's dreadful.
Well,
Here, if any doctor, any medical person says, and by the way, you can't drive, you daren't. You cannot drive. Over here, if a doctor says that,
well, this was in the United Kingdom.
was it? Well, how did she drive? Because you're not allowed to. You really can't. I mean,
Well,
I suppose people do. They don't. I suppose some people don't understand what the law is.
No, but I mean, you've got to have a safety net here. Obviously, it's changed our lives completely.
Absolutely.
The compensation because of the wonderful system in Britain was zero, and it's affected our lives and still affects our
hugely.
lives. I can also see the other side of it. And if you take driving licenses off people, some people can drive into their 90s quite safely. But if you arbitrarily take licenses off people, you could be killing them.
Yes.
Because it's a big thing the older you get, the ability for the freedom and to be able to get out and drive, relieve the tension.
I mean, even if
whatever
it's just down to the local shops.
Exactly that.
Mostly it probably is. But I suppose you can still cause some significant damage, can't you? Going to the local shops and the
You
local
can.
primary
Well,
school.
this was a lady just going to a local shop.
Yeah, and you can do. Well, don't they say you cause more damage in the last half mile?
In your
mile
your
from your home.
locality. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And
there is a medium course here that is not legislative that will throw the baby out with the bathwater. And there's too much legislation.
Yeah.
And therefore, we've got to say to our doctors, you're paid an awful lot of money, and they are. You've got to take responsibility of saying, yes, you're in a situation now, something's wrong with your eyes, as an example. You cannot drive safely, don't. And they can easily report that to the authorities.
Yes.
Tie it up with their driving license.
But also dementia. I mean, if you can't
Yes.
work out whether you have to look right or left, it's a bit of a problem, isn't it?
It is a growing problem, yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've got to go. Sorry to be so miserable today,
Well,
everybody.
I don't think there's much to be happy about. Everything pales into insignificance with what's going on, doesn't it, really? But you have to try. I think we've tried our best to try and be a little lighter, but you can't get away from the reality of the world right now, can you?
No, let's hope it's a good weekend for us all. And
Yes, let's hope so.
see you next week.
See you next week. Have a good weekend, everyone.